Congressman, it's good to see you again.
It's an honor. Thanks.
I say again. I guess I haven't met you in person before, but I've certainly seen your work before. How many terms now for you?
This is my fifth term. So I came in when Speaker Boehner resigned. So um, it's been a bit.
You've seen some speaker drama over your time then.
Yeah, there's been it's a tough job. I mean, I got the good job. Speaker, pretty thankless. Got to be one of the toughest leadership challenges anywhere, because you have a title and a position. You have structural power, but you don't really have all the tools that it takes to do the job. It really does take a lot of teamwork.
So from Speaker Boehner to Speaker Johnson, what's been the trajectory? Where is this House today versus when you came in under Speaker Boehner?
Well, when I obviously I didn't come in under Boehner. He had just left. That's how I came in. So when I first got here, we had Paul Ryan, and Paul Ryan went to school in my district. He went to Miami of Ohio, Miami University, and so he's familiar with our district. He had actually put Boehner yard signs out when he was a college kid, and so he rose up through the ranks and became Speaker of the House. But if you go back to President Trump's first term, he didn't always have support from Speaker Ryan. He certainly didn't always have support from Mitch McConnell, and hasn't been able to count on that so far in this administration. So now you see under Speaker Johnson full alignment with President Trump's agenda. And you see that where there was a tussle for power within the Republican Party. You saw that with 17 candidates back in 2016. There were a handful of people that ran in the last election, but Donald Trump clearly has a grip on power within the party, and he has full support from Speaker Johnson. President Trump supports Speaker Johnson. That goes both ways. And you see Leader Thune really striking a different tone in the Senate as well.
That's what I wanted to ask you. I know you've been around the block for a while, so you know the difference between talk and action. I have heard it said that you guys in the Republican caucus on the House side were pleased that Leader Thune came and, as I understand it, spoke to you all about this big, beautiful bill and actually listened, which is a rarity. I understand these two houses do not speak to too often in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was the big thing. The question was, well, do we need to hear from Trump? Not really, because we know where Trump is on it. We know, frankly, that the House set a $1.5 trillion floor. So when the Senate sends over a bill that's only $4 billion in savings, we're like, what in the world? How did you not get the message from the House? 1.5 trillion is the floor, and how did some of our conservative senators go along with this? What seemed to be pretty weak bill out of the Senate. So we really needed to hear from Thune. What did Thune say to conservative senators to get them to vote for the Senate's bill? And we wanted to hear directly from Leader Thune what he said to get conservatives like, Mike Lee, Ron Johnson, Rick Scott, and others to vote for that. Eric Schmidt. How did these guys vote for it when it seems not incredibly ambitious?
They say, I have heard senators that have been on my show say repeatedly they would have preferred multiple bills instead of one big, beautiful bill. The House pushed for the big, beautiful bill. Is Thune going to be able to get all of those Republicans who said they would rather parse this out and delay this and that? I'm fascinated with how that plays out. He just needs 50 under reconciliation, 50 votes, that is, right? Is he going to get it done? Is it your understanding the Senate's ready to play ball?
Well, that's what he came over to promise, right? And he asked for us to give him the votes. They promised that we're going to under promise and over deliver. We're going to hold them to that. I mean, we set a $1.5 trillion floor. Look, their $4 billion rounds to a $1.5 trillion difference from our $1.5 trillion floor. And the other thing is, look, we raised the debt ceiling by $4 trillion. The Senate wants to raise it by $5 trillion. The important thing to understand there is, that's on a 2 to 4 year time frame that you're going to hit that debt limit. Over a 10-year period, you're going to hit about $18 trillion in debt if we don't change course on spending. So if we're not going to change course on spending now, when? What is it going to take? The crash site? I mean, let's not hit the crash site. Let's start changing course. We know we can't keep spending the way we have been, and DOGE has been finding the money all over the place. Let us seize this moment and deliver some savings.
I know you've heard it from constituents. I certainly hear it from my audience. I'm not putting this all on you because you're one of 435, and then there's 100 over in the Senate. But are your constituents feeling anxious, frustrated? Here we are, the first quarter of the first year. People want action. They want justice over at DOJ. They want to see a big, beautiful bill, tax cuts. You understand, government obviously doesn't work that fast all the time. But Is it going too slowly? Are you hearing that from your constituents, or are we right on track in your view?
The House is definitely going too slowly, and the Senate's like we're trying to detect a movement over there. They did, confirm President Trump's picks, and we shouldn't underappreciate the challenge of doing that. He threw some aggressive, strong picks in, and the Senate delivered the votes that they needed, sometimes just barely, to be able to confirm Donald Trump's cabinet. And that's a big deal. But the administration, look, they're going, high speed. As an Army guy, I always say high speed, low drag, right? You want lots of momentum. The Trump administration's high speed. The House and Senate, Congress has not been low drag. I'd say some drag, right? But so far, we haven't blown it. We haven't ground things to a halt. But if you look at the border, if we don't change the law, we're back to and there's a Democrat administration. We're back to the floodgates are open and millions of people are coming in. We need to change the law, and we need to have President Trump's back so that he can win against these judges. Whether that means completely overhauling the district court judge system, or it means making an immigration and deportation scheme so clear that no judge can rule against it. Uh, the rate of deportations has to exceed the rate of illegal invasion, or you're not going to be able to eliminate the problem. They'll just be back to flooding the country. You've got to be able to count people in the census that are citizens, because they're drawing congressional maps based off of even people that are here illegally. So you've got, probably 7 extra members of Congress just in California because they count non-citizens. They're rivaling Missouri for a congressional delegation just made up of the people that are there illegally. So we have to change the law.
Congressman, it has been a pleasure to catch up with you, my friend. I'm so glad you stopped by. Thank you.
Thank you.